Welcome everybody to today's presentation on healthcare marketing SEO versus digital Darwinism. All right, let's get right into it. Here's Charles. Really has built one of the largest audiences of addiction treatment professionals in the country, really through the use of SEO, which you're going to hear about. You're going to learn about SEO a little bit, branding and social media marketing. And that's not just an empty statement, because he has a direct following of over 150,000 people on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And you don't get to that kind of a number without knowing something about SEO, branding, and social media. So he really does have a dominant presence on social media. And so, hand it over to Charles, and Charles will go through the presentation. Should be really interesting.
Hey, thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to help Advanced Data Systems Corp. So, audience and show some added value to them in other areas. So I really got to give kudos to you guys for, stepping outside of the box and providing added value to, your audience. To give everybody an idea, my background, I have a marketing degree from the University of Buffalo. I've been in the addiction treatment industry for almost 6 years. I am the CEO of Behavioral Health Network Resources, and our journey into this industry is pretty unique. When I first came into this industry, we saw an extreme need for outreach, and we saw how the industry was starting developing even back then, where the treatment center owners, were relying on short-term solutions to the long-term problem of maintaining the census. For years, the industry has relied on Google AdWords and PPC to generate their clients. But, jumped forward to 2019, the competition is much heavier. I mean, you have the big players, the big treatment centers, and the lead aggregators spending $500,000 a month or more on PPC and Google AdWords. For a small player with a $5,000 or $10,000 budget, AdWords and PPC is not a good bet. You got some organizations that are, pushing to go that way, and these small centers are, shelling out $2,000 for legit script certification, and then another $1,200 a year for recertification, just to play in that space, competing against those players that are spending big money. Google AdWords and PPC is no longer the answer for the small players. So, what is the answer? The answer is, SEO and ranking on page 1 of Google organically, and in the Google snack pack or the 3-pack, at the top of the page. But, I came up with the term digital Darwinism because the industry is totally outdated as far as the owners and the marketing directors on web marketing and what it entails. And, that's partly the fault of a lot of poor drug rehab marketing agencies not educating as they are servicing their clients. We just took on a client about a month ago, and they were with their agency about 8 months, and they sent me over their backlink report, and it was an Excel spreadsheet with 3 line items after 8 months of doing their marketing. She said I was totally oblivious as to what they look for. So in this webinar, we're gonna show you some things to look at for your SEO. We're gonna show you the common mistakes. We're going to show you, if you don't want to do the SEO in-house, which is very time-consuming, which why many never do it, at least you'll know what to look for in your marketing company to make sure things are being done. Besides, the smoke and mirrors with the reports and then the conference call at the end of the month, that really doesn't help you, because the bottom line is, if your phone isn't ringing, they're not doing their job. And you go to them and say, hey, my phone's not ringing, and they're like, well, we did this, and this, and this, and this, and it all looks good on paper. But unless you know exactly what to look for and what is being done, you really have no idea what they're doing. So, hopefully we're going to give you a bunch of tools today to help you get out of that digital Darwinism box.
Charles, can I interrupt 1 second, because I forgot to mention, if anyone has any questions as this is happening, please chat them in, and we'll either try and get to them as we go or at the end. Okay, sorry about that.
No problem at all. So, I was talking to you guys yesterday, and you guys had asked me, well, what's the biggest mistake that, these operators are making with their SEO? And that would most definitely have to be website development. For SEO to happen, Google uses 200 ranking factors. So you have to communicate with the Google spiders that are coming down to your website. And if you're not communicating with them, if you're not putting up signposts like H tags, alt tags, and your SERP descriptions don't match, your URL doesn't have the keyword in it, they're not going to rank you. So the website development, usually what treatment center owners and marketing directors do is they judge their website on its aesthetics, how it looks. Which is only about 10% of what a website actually does. I always tell people, a website's like an iceberg. There's only 10% showing. The other 90% underneath is what communicates with Google. And if you don't have those pieces in place, your chances of ranking on page 1 of Google drastically reduce. At behavioralhealthnetworkresources.com, we have a very lengthy blog post specifically on digital Darwinism, drug rehab marketing, SEO versus digital Darwinism. And inside that is a 40-point checklist that is extremely valuable to drug rehab owners. Couple of the main things that you have to look at on your website, for simplicity purposes, is the URL up at the top. Does the URL have the long tail keyword that you're trying to rank for? For us, we wanted to rank for drug rehab SEO, so there it is. It's right in our URL. Our long tail keyword is in the header, the first header, drug rehab marketing again. And then if you go down, it's in the first line of the copy, drug rehab marketing. And then we sprinkle it throughout the other H2 tags. So you want one H1 tag, and you can have as many H2 tags as you want, but Google only wants one H1 tag. So you can either consider the name of the article as the H1 tag, or you can actually do an H1 tag in the body of the post. I like Google to say, hey, this is the H1 tag, and everything else is the H2 tag. So, we got it in the URL, we have it at the beginning of the sentence, we have it in the H1 tag, and let me go into my WordPress just to show you where else it has to be. Down here is the SERP description. This is 160 characters. It should be in there. Now, some experts say the SERP doesn't really matter that much anymore like it used to. However, I believe that it does. And having it in the SERP description, Google's either going to use my SERP description, or if it scans my content and thinks it's something different is in there, it's going to use a different one. But I can tell you 99% of the time it's the SERP description that I put in there because it's dead on what the article is. So, looking at those main points, in addition to another big mistake that people make is with their pictures, which are called alts, ALT. So your alt description also has to have that long tail keyword. At least one of your pictures in your article have to have it in the alt description and in the title description. That drastically increases your SEO on page. And then also, just to give you guys an idea, if you Google drug rehab marketing and go to images, this image is ours, this image is ours, this image is ours, this one's 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 ours. So we dominate the image section of Google, and Google says, that's great, we're going to give you a lot of juice for that. So labeling your labeling all of your pictures in the alt text and the SERP description can increase your SEO. If you just did an audit just on that component alone, it would give you a ton of Google juice. Do that audit in addition to the H tag audit, you're gonna increase the SEO even more. Those are just some of the areas that people miss. Again, Google is using 200 ranking factors. And, if you base your website on its aesthetics, you really have no chance of ranking no matter what drug rehab agency you have hired, unless they're using black hat strategies. And, black hat strategies will get you penalized, and then you'll never rank, period. So it's better just to do it right the first time, lay the foundation correctly to earn your way through Google. Let me see here. I did that one. I did that one. So if you Google, this is interesting. Drug rehab marketing. A ton of marketing companies out there say they do drug rehab marketing. That's a money term for an agency. So which ones are really ranking? Top 40 drug rehab marketing resources. That's Behavioral Health Network resources. We got drug rehab agency. We have drug rehab consultants. Inside the maps, number 1 in maps, Behavioral Health Network resources. Drug rehab solutions, that's Behavioral Health Network resources. If you go to page 2, we got Behavioral Health Network resources. We got Behavioral Health Network resources. We have my LinkedIn profile, which we're going to cover on LinkedIn and show you the value not only of LinkedIn, but outside of LinkedIn. Drug rehab agency. So within the first 2 pages, Behavioral Health Network resources has 8 rankings. So, there's probably, 1,000 companies that say they do drug rehab SEO, but there's only a handful that rank for their own key terms. So if they're not ranking for their own key terms, how can you expect them to rank for your own? So, just doing a little research, just like your clients are doing research for drug rehabs, West Palm Beach. So drug rehabs, West Palm Beach, we have rehabs.com, which is an aggregator. We have addicted.org. We have Rehab Center. These are all aggregators. They're spending big money on SEO and big money on Google AdWords and PPC. We have Ambrosia. Oh, look here, Behavioral Health Network resources. We're not even a treatment center, but we rank on page 1 of Google. That happens through SEO. So, let's look up opiate detox, West Palm Beach. Look at that, number 1, Behavioral Health Network resources. Again, we're not an opiate detox, but we rank there because we start with the basic and make sure the foundation is done correctly, and then we build solid backlinks, which is a very difficult task for a lot of treatment centers. A while back, we did an article for Advanced Data Systems Corp, and our goal was to rank for substance abuse billing, which they're a provider. So ADSC is number 1. We have integration SAMHSA number 2. We have addiction rep, and then look, we have Behavioral Health Network resources number 4. We're not a billing company, but the way that we did that 1,500 word plus article, we SEO'd it with the H tags, the alt tags, the SERP descriptions. We provided extremely valuable content, and we made it on the page 1. I think it happened in about 2 weeks. So, the content is so very, very important, and that's another area that many treatment centers falter in is their blog. They really don't understand the purpose of a blog. They're just blogging for the sake of blogging. They'll have 400, 600 words inside a post. That's really not going to get you to rank on Google, and that's the ultimate goal. Google has 2 billion users. They have 63,000 searches every second. You have an industry that is running after Google AdWords and PPC to pay to be on page one of Google, when if they took, a fraction of that investment, invested it in SEO, they're going to rank on page one. And the value of ranking organically far exceeds the three paid ads that are at the top of the page. These three paid ads only receive 2% of page one click-throughs. It's 2%. And what generally happens is you get a lot of Medicaid and Medicare calls. So if you rank into Google Maps and you rank in the first three slots organically, the click-through rate is 60 to 70%. So, the old ways of, Google AdWords and PPC to get your census no longer works. And the rehab owners are struggling. They're trained to get immediate results through Google AdWords and PPC for years, and SEO doesn't work that way. SEO takes time. It takes, 30 days just to get your property set up enough with the proper structure and proper H tags, alt tags, SERP descriptions, schema. And then once that's set up, you have to have valuable content, not just your landing pages on your services. You have to have 5 really good blog content centered around drug rehabs followed by your city, outpatient drug rehabs followed by your city, opiate detox followed by your city, individual articles, 1,500 words plus, that focus around that one long tail keyword, that have it in the URL, have it in the H tag, have it in the alt tag, have it in the SERP description. And then once you do that, there's backlinks that have to be built to get it ranked. So there's a certain process involved. And if you try to shortcut that process, it's going to affect how effective you are of getting on page one of Google. So, switching gears a little bit, we started Behavioral Health Network Resources based on LinkedIn, strictly based on LinkedIn. That's how we've been able to build up, 30,000 addiction behavioral health professional level 1 connections and 14 groups on LinkedIn with over 50,000 members. All started in LinkedIn, which is probably the #1 most underutilized social media in our industry. There's 550 million professionals on there, and the thought pattern when I started Behavioral Health Network Resources was to help the treatment centers outreach connect with the hard-to-reach referrals, the private clinicians, the LMHCs, the hospitals, because they're all on LinkedIn, and it's a much more professional relationship than, Facebook is. But, to be able to, use that medium, before you start connecting or trying to connect with, your target audience, there's some things you have to look at your LinkedIn profile. One is your profile picture. Should always be professional. Should not be something casual. It's a very high professional medium, and one of the biggest mistakes people make is either no picture at all, or a picture that's not professional. Second to that is this backdrop picture right here, which is hard to find because I think it's got to be like 786 by 1430 in size. So it's difficult to find a picture that fits that format. What I recommend is find a picture you like, and then just Google free picture reformatting applications on the web, and then you'll find one and you'll be able to resize it. So if you look at it, there's only so many opportunities for visual opportunities, and when they first come on, that's the 2 biggest visual portions. So the first 5 seconds is the impression that people are going to judge you by moving forward. So not having that really changes their perception of who you are and how valuable you are. The third component to look at would be your title. I mean, mine has drug rehab marketing consultants, drug rehab SEO marketing consultants. This profile ranks inside of LinkedIn, but also ranks on Google for that search term. And part of the reasons is, my whole profile is very complete, very robust, and very mature. So, usually this part right here, you can only have regular text. However, I developed a way to use the same SEO that's used in WordPress, which is bold and italicized, and have that inside there. So the Google search engine, it's a signpost for them that really picks it up. The next thing to look at inside the LinkedIn profile is the About section. LinkedIn is not a resume. LinkedIn is serving two purposes. One, you want to attract and engage your target audience, and two, you want to rank on Google for long-tail keywords using your LinkedIn profile, because Google has a DA of 100, which is the highest rating that Google gives to any website. So if it's formatted and set up correctly, you can actually rank outside of Google for key terms, and that's what I've done with the About section here. Drug rehab marketing SEO consultants, drug rehab consultants, drug rehab consultants, drug rehab consultants, drug rehab consultants. And all of this verbiage all relates to how a drug rehab consultant helps addiction treatment centers with their marketing. And then there's a visual component underneath there where you can add links to your properties, which would be your main website, your service pages. So this is pretty robust and full. Google also lists on your website your articles and activities. So if I go to see all articles, it doesn't tell me. On my profile, if I was in my profile, I'm at a client's right now, it would show you that I have over 300 posts, 300 articles. So again, Google's looking at the back end and seeing what's attached to the profile. They see 300 articles that are drug related. That's a pretty good database of information for them to say, okay, this is really what this guy's all about. And then, just like this About section being robust, your Experience section should be, just as robust. And again, you're focusing on keywords and you're explaining it, and then you give you another opportunity for backlinks to your website. And then I use this section a little bit differently than others. Is conferences, so I put that as a job, and depending on what area that I'm holding my conference in, I'll change the area there. So I'm using this for services that I provide, which makes it more robust. Drug rehab call centers, addiction conferences. That's just on LinkedIn itself. That's a workshop on LinkedIn. So you can kind of modify LinkedIn to work to your advantage by changing, your work history into your keywords, and then have them link to your website, which will drastically improve your SEO. So, you want to fill out all the fields that LinkedIn tells you. You want to get to all-star level. And, we're going to go over, a couple different areas that you need to do that. Here's, let me see, skills and endorsements. Again, drug rehab marketing, addiction conferences, SEO. It has my keywords in there also, so Google's also picking up on that. And then there's a hidden part under accomplishments under here, and you can put courses, projects, publications, organizations, honors and awards. These are all backlinking opportunities. So you describe what you want, and again, you could use your keywords to do that. Let's say you're in Los Angeles and you're drug rehab, you could do a course, Drug Rehabs Los Angeles, and then do the verbiage explaining your drug rehab, and then it gives you an opportunity to put a backlink into your website. So, on my page, I probably have 300 backlinks to properties that help build my SEO. And once your profile is robust, you start doing articles. And let's do an article real fast so you guys can get an idea of it. So let me see. let's say I was going to do an article on drug rehab marketing. I would do a little verbiage, you know, drug rehab marketing and SEO require specialists. Specialists that understand search engine optimization. So I type maybe 2 or 3 sentences, and then I would do, you know, what is drug rehab marketing? I would highlight that, and I would go to this tab up here, normal, and I would make that an H1 tag. Remember, the H tags are signposts for Google spiders. So you can actually get an article from LinkedIn to rank outside of LinkedIn if you do the proper SEO. So then I go in here and talk about all the words associated with LinkedIn and marketing and SEO and drug rehab marketing and addiction treatment centers. And then I might do an H tag, you know, how to maximize drug marketing to get on page 1 of Google. So then I would make this an H2 tag. So I would go through all of those, H2 tag, boom. I might want to throw in a photo here, image, upload computer. So I would do drug rehab marketing. It has my keyword in it, SEO. I would include that in there. Add the description. What is drug rehab SEO marketing? Has my long tail keyword in there. Have my picture in there. Boom. So now that's SEO. I have my H tags SEO'd. I might do a backlink. Let's see, drug rehab marketing. So I would take, let's do the drug rehab SEO. I would take this URL. I'd highlight that, use a little paperclip, paste it in there. Now I'm hot linked for that particular term, drug rehab marketing, to that article, which is drug rehab marketing, and the H tag, the alt tag, the SERP description, and the URL. So Google definitely knows that that's what it's all about, and it's in reference, and it's supporting the content that I have in there. And you want to do the same with the picture that you're going to upload. Let's see if I have another one on here. That's drug rehab and SEO. I want to use drug rehab SEO consultants. So I put that in there, smush it down a little bit, and then I'll put what is drug rehab marketing. So if I had all the content in here, I don't want to take the time to write it out, but you guys get the idea. The main picture, it has the long tail keyword in it. It has it in the description here. I have it in my H1 tag. I have it in my H2 tag. I have a link through to it, drug rehab marketing, which goes to a drug rehab marketing article that's all about drug rehab marketing. It's in the URL. It's in the H tag. It's in the alt tag. It's in the SERP description. So now this article has a really good chance of, being indexed for a particular term that I'm trying to do. It would give it the URL. If I hit go, it would give it the URL of the header, linkedin.com post / drug rehab marketing. So once I have that post done and I send it out and it goes up, it ends up on my profile as my activity. So this isn't my profile, it's Nora's. So if I pull up this article, oh, nice click through. Let's go to me. So once you guys have all of that done, what you want to do is you want to share it 3 times a day. You want to share it in the morning, in the afternoon, and at night. You know, even though my profile is, 30,000 level 1 connections, that doesn't mean they're on at that time. You know, only a fraction of them might be in. There might only be 500 on at the time that I share it. So it goes to the top of all of my 3,000, 30,000 boards. But their contacts are also posting stuff, which is pushing that down, pushing that down, and pushing that down. That's why you need to repost 3 times during the day at different hours. So if I take this article, there's a couple different ways to share it, and it only takes about 2 seconds. So I hit share in a post. So I can share to anyone, I can share to my connections, or I can share to groups. So what I do is I share to anyone and my Twitter, and then once I do that, authorize, oh, she's not hooked up. So share to connections only, done, post, there, it just went out to all my connections, and then I share, and then I might pick 4 or 5 groups, the Addiction Professional Referral Group, which everyone's welcome to join. There's 14,000 members there. That's going to share it into the Addiction Professional Referral Group. So now if I go to that particular group, I don't know why it's not doing that. That post should be at the top of this group, and there it is. So that post, just hits, 14,672 members boards. And again, you don't want to share in the group 3 times a day, but you want to share to your connections and anyone on Facebook, or if your Twitter account is attached, share it to Twitter from there also. In the groups, you want to share it once, and you want to join as many groups as you possibly can that are addiction related. For outreach professionals, all they would do is they would search addiction, come up, and then here you're going to put groups, and then this lists all the addiction professional referral groups that you can have. So you're taking a post, and you can potentially reach 24,000, 34, 40,000, 42,000, 43,000, 44,000, 45,000, 55, 65,000, 70,000, 75,000 just from page 1. So you could increase your audience by 75,000 by joining in groups and then sharing your content in that groups. And like I was talking to Advanced Data Systems Corp yesterday, they have an outstanding platform for substance abuse billing and utilization review, and they have a huge staff. And I said, listen, you need to get your staff together every day or once a week, send out an email and share, your content, because you guys have outstanding content that really educates rehab owners on, their pain points, and one of them is substance abuse billing. It's estimated that most treatment centers are leaving about 25% on the table with their billing, and they either don't realize it, or, they think they have it under control, or, it's too much of a struggle for them. So, Advanced Data System Corps, can help recapture a lot of that lost revenue, which, for some treatment centers, it's millions of dollars that are outstanding. And, the insurance companies are just stringing them along, hoping that eventually, they'll get so strong with capital that they'll end up closing their doors. And, that's happening, more often than you would think across the United States. There's a ton of treatment center owners or treatment centers closing, from 2 factors. One is their billing, and they can't get their money fast enough. And 2, is they don't understand drug rehab marketing, and they're stuck in their old school laissez-faire ways of, of digital Darwinism and relying on Google AdWords and PPC. So, changing your business strategy, having a healthy marketing mix, understanding what to look for your marketing if you hire an agency, asking them, the real questions instead of going on the smoke and mirrors that they're producing every single month to say that they're doing stuff. Because again, the bottom line is you need your phone to ring and you need your census filled. And, the number one factor in that is my phone ringing? Am I getting calls? So, just redeveloping and moving into the new millennium with your marketing could potentially help save your center down the road. Do you guys have anything for me there from Advanced Data Systems Corp?
Hi, Charles. First of all, everyone on the webinar should know that what you just saw now in the last half hour or whatever is like watching Penn and Teller tell you how they do all their tricks. It's just an unbelievable inside look from really a genius at what he does to see how he does what he does. So we had one question about the specialty. We mentioned at the beginning that you, of course, Charles, you're mostly into the behavioral health, substance abuse side, but really pretty much anything you showed today or everything you showed today could be usable by other specialties as well.
Absolutely. It can be transferred over to anything. SEO is SEO. If you lay the foundation correctly, the H tags, the alt tags, the search descriptions, the URL, and have valuable content, long form content, it's going to work in any industry. Our industry just happens to be light years behind of the new millennium and drug rehab marketing on the web.
Right. So everyone on the call, if you're in orthopedics or dermatology or whatever specialty, anything and everything you just saw, you can use as well.
And to show you guys how effective it really is, we took on a new client about a month ago, and they're a luxury drug rehab in San Diego. So I searched the long tail keyword luxury drug rehabs San Diego, and they're number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's after 30 days, and they had nothing going on. They weren't even in Google's radar. They weren't even the first 50 pages of listings for that term. So within 30 days, they got up to number 5, just by doing best practices and doing the things that we discussed here, and in addition to us building backlinks in our mature property. And that's one thing I didn't address thoroughly enough is backlink building. Backlink building is critical once you have all those other pieces in place, because Google wants to know that you're the authority. So building backlinks starts with what are called citations. And, those are websites like LinkedIn, like Alignable, like Medium, like Patch. And you have to set up profiles, and those profiles, your name, address, and phone, which is called NAP, must match exactly to your Google My Business. For Google to say, hey, that's you, we'll give you credit for it. And those profiles need to be built out very robust and full. That's where we really have an advantage over our competition, is we have very mature citation listing websites that are built out, that have good content, that are years old, and we simply plug our SEO clients into there, and that's how you see results like Harmony Grove Recovery ranking for luxury drug rehab San Diego in 30 days. Google already loves our content on those pages and the content that we built, so we just plug them in and boom, in a short period of time, they're ranking, and they'll stay there for a long time. They'll stay there for a long time.
This was really great. We appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, I hope I gave you a lot of bits there to, chop up. I invite you to visit my website. It's loaded with, 1,500 word plus blog posts on everything you can imagine, from website development to SEO, to marketing, to building backlinks. And you can get there by going to www.behavioralhealthnetworkresources.com. Or you can just Google BHNR, Bob, Harold, Nathan, Richard, and we'll be the first listing. Or just Google drug rehab marketing or drug rehab SEO. We dominate the first pages.
Okay. Charles, thanks a million. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Here's our info if you want to get in touch with us. Again, we have really great software for electronic health records, billing, scheduling, financial tracking, operations tracking, anything like that. Give us a call, get in touch. Okay. Thank you all.
Great. Thank you, Advanced Data Systems Corp. I appreciate the opportunity to add value to your valuable audience.
And value it was, so that's good. Okay. All right. Take care, everybody.